And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is going to feel something from him. And it ain't going to be easy to hit him. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out.
In Florida, man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots.
Oh, Tank's going to kill him. Tank's going to kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then...
Okay. It's kind of like the Tyson thing again, though, right? Like when
it reminded me of that, but it also reminded me of like, oh, in barbershops across the world, people, or at least the country, people will talk about this and be like, oh, Tank's going to kill him because he will not get hit.
The boxing world has been taken by surprise as Gervonta "Tank" Davis showcases peak form ahead of his highly anticipated clash with Jake Paul. Recent training clips capture him unleashing explosive combinations on the heavy bag, each strike packed with precision and purpose. His sharp movements and focused demeanor have caught the attention of fans and analysts alike, proving that Davis is taking this fight extremely seriously. Experts say Tank's best chance to win lies not just in his knockout power, but in his ability to stay composed and tactical. They stress that if he uses smart movement, ring control, and timing, rather than chasing an early finish, he can dismantle Paul's rhythm with ease. While Davis is famous for his devastating power, insiders point out that it's his defense, counterpunching, and calculated patience that make him truly elite. When he fights with discipline, many believe there's no one at Jake Paul's level who can match his mix of speed, accuracy, and fight IQ. Analysts are warning that Jake Paul may be in for a brutal reality check once he shares the ring with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. They argue that Tank's speed, precision, and ring intelligence operate on an entirely different level than anything Jake has experienced before. While Jake's past opponents were tough and physically imposing, none possessed Davis's explosive timing or ability to exploit the smallest mistakes. Many experts predict that once Davis lands clean, the difference in power and experience will become painfully clear. Jake's defense, still viewed by many as raw and unrefined, may not withstand the relentless pressure of a world-class fighter like Tank. With Davis's calculated patience and fight IQ, analysts believe a knockout is not just possible, it's likely. The consensus among boxing insiders is simple. When Tank finds his target, Jake won't have the resilience or defensive awareness to survive the storm.
Can his speed and, his ability make up for that size difference, in your honest opinion?
Well, he has to be very smart throughout the course of the fight. It's hard to know in some things. I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab. Jake's fighting one of the best boxers ever.
One of the hottest talking points around this matchup is the weight difference. Some critics argue that the size gap between the two fighters is too wide to overlook, while others believe Gervonta "Tank" Davis's superior technique and ring IQ will erase any physical disadvantage. The boxing community remains split, with many questioning whether the fight should even happen, given Jake Paul's naturally bigger frame. Tank supporters, however, dismiss those concerns. They point out that Davis's blend of speed, accuracy, and discipline has consistently allowed him to outperform larger opponents. To them, boxing has never been about sheer size, it's about timing, angles, and control. Many experts agree that Jake's fundamentals are still developing and that once the bell rings, Tank's technical precision will likely make the weight difference irrelevant.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro.
Killers.
Chilaquiles. Gervonta Tank Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14th down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta Tank Davis, and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's gonna go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all gonna say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis, he needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I'll say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
a 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
That's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level, and it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilaquiles. Chilaquiles. Chilaquiles.
Michael Bisping has praised Gervonta Tank Davis for his remarkable power, precision, and adaptability. But he also cautions that size can't be completely dismissed. While he admires Tank's ability to handle bigger opponents, Bisping notes that physical differences inevitably play a role once punches start landing. In his view, Tank has the intelligence and movement to outthink and outmaneuver Jake Paul, yet the weight gap could test his stamina and ability to absorb heavier shots. Even so, Bisping expresses confidence in Davis's mindset and skill, saying that if anyone can overcome this kind of challenge, it's Tank. He concludes that although the size factor remains a legitimate concern, Davis's superior technique and ring IQ might still allow him to neutralize Jake's physical edge, provided he executes a flawless game plan.
Happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child, Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight.
And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves.
And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded on their professional records.
A number of boxing analysts have spoken out against what they see as the unfair criticism of Gervonta Tank Davis's resume. They point out that many of his opponents have actually benefited from sharing the ring with him, gaining both exposure and credibility afterward. Fighters like Lamont, who were relatively unknown before facing Davis, went on to earn widespread recognition and new opportunities following their bouts. Experts argue this reflects Tank's undeniable influence and market power within the sport. They reject the narrative that Davis isn't one of boxing's true stars, emphasizing that his fights don't just draw massive attention, they also help elevate the careers of others. In their view, questioning his legacy overlooks how consistently he's boosted the visibility and success of the very fighters who challenge him.
They're taking on Mike Tyson that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that. because of the payday, because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this would be very, very dangerous, and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many times and not knock him out, with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head, and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money, and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on Netflix. Fair play.
Coach Reg has taken a balanced stance amid the criticism surrounding Gervonta "Tank" Davis. He reminds fans that Tank has already accomplished more than most fighters ever do at his age. In Reg's view, there's nothing wrong with pursuing high-paying fights once a boxer has proven their worth. After years of dedication, discipline, and risk inside the ring, he believes Davis has earned the right to secure his financial future. Reg also points out that every fighter eventually reaches a stage where legacy and livelihood must coexist, and Tank is no exception. Critics, he argues, often overlook how much Davis has done for the sport and how consistent his commitment has been. Whether Davis decides to keep fighting or retire in the near future, Coach Reg insists his legacy is already set in stone as one of the defining lightweights of this generation.
Ongoing discussion in the boxing world about Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis, his resume, who he's going to fight, the competitors that he's going to fight. And every once in a while, something happens that proves that Gervonta Davis is the face of that. If he's not the face of boxing because people just don't want him to be that, man, he is real close to it, because other than Canelo Alvarez, and even consider Canelo Alvarez included, nobody in boxing has divisions circulating around him like Gervonta Davis does. And that was proved during this Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz announcement for their pay-per-view. Just think about this. Gervonta Davis, they always say that Gervonta Davis has a poor resume, but yet Gervonta Davis, guys that fight Gervonta Davis, lose to Gervonta Davis, or get a draw to Gervonta Davis, can fight one another and make an anticipated pay-per-view between the two of them. Because that fight with Pitbull Cruz is a very, very popular fighter with Mexican fight fans. Lamont Roach got a lot of name exposure with black fight fans and Mexican fight fans and white fight fans, all with his draw that he got against Gervonta Davis. Now they believe that this is going to be able to be a profitable endeavor for a pay-per-view. Now, let me also tell you that Rolly Romero, who was somebody else that Gervonta Davis fought in the past, will be on a pay-per-view that's going to be successful, most likely, when he defends his WBC 140-pound championship, or does he have the WBA?
Some analysts note that much of the buzz surrounding this fight stems not only from Gervonta "Tank" Davis' skill in the ring, but also from his cultural presence and mainstream appeal. As one of the most recognizable black athletes in American boxing, Davis naturally commands attention from both fans and the media. His fights often transcend sports, becoming cultural moments that resonate far beyond the boxing community. Experts highlight that his fame has positioned him as one of the sport's most influential figures, a status that brings equal parts admiration and scrutiny. They emphasize that public perception plays a major role in shaping how matchups like this are received, and Davis' prominence ensures that every move he makes draws headlines. Still, most agree that his stardom isn't built on hype alone. It is elite talent and consistency that have truly earned him the spotlight he enjoys today.
I mean, especially Tank been talking about retiring, so why not get the bag and then go about your business if that's your plan? I mean, if that's your plan to retire, then go get the bag and then go about your business. You ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm not against it.
you got some people that are very critical of Tank. Does it make sense depending on what you're in boxing for? Because you got some people that want to fight the best. You got some people that want the accolades, the belts, the undisputed. And you got some people that just came in this game like, look, I'm trying to get my family out of poverty and give us generational wealth. Does it all depend on what you decided to box for?
Well, Tank accomplished a lot at a young age. You know what I mean? He accomplished a lot at a young age. So I wouldn't be mad if he took the bag and went about his business and never fought again. You know what I mean? Plus, look at some of the things that he's going through. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of that can affect you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're trying to be in this game. So I think, get the bag and go. That's your plan. Get the bag and go.
For me, of course, I wanted to see him fight Shakur. I wanted to see him fight Devin.
Yeah, we all wanted to see him fight.
Guess what, bro?
Many analysts view this matchup as more of a global spectacle than a traditional boxing contest. Jake Paul's rise to fame through social media and entertainment has positioned him as a crossover star rather than a conventional fighter. Experts suggest that this bout isn't just about settling a sporting rivalry, it's also designed to capture mainstream attention. With Netflix handling the broadcast, the fight is guaranteed unparalleled exposure. While some predict that Gervonta "Tank" Davis will dominate thanks to his elite experience, others argue that Jake's celebrity status keeps the event exciting and widely talked about. This matchup has become a prime example of the intersection between entertainment and sport, where skill meets spectacle. Competitive or not, it's certain to draw millions of viewers and put both fighters in the global spotlight.
Tank Davis, especially an American black fighter, right? Everything is embellished and, made into a bigger deal, especially when they're popular fighters like Gervonta Davis. Or Floyd Mayweather has a close fight with Castillo Maidana, and it's the end of the world. Andre Ward has a tough fight with Kovalev. Oh, it's the end of the world. He cheated and all this stuff. Jermell Charlo has a close fight with Castano, so on and so forth, right? Oh, Jermell, it was a robbery, and it turns into this big deal. But back to Tank's resume, his last opponent was Lamont Roach. I thought he won the fight. There wasn't this crazy action happening on Lamont Roach's side prior to that knee thing. I feel like when the knee fiasco happened, that's when the fight started to pick up a bit. And Lamont Roach, I think what he deserves credit for is he exceeded expectations that people have for him. But you can't score a fight based on expectations. You feel me? Right? Like, you don't get a fight and get the victory because you did better than people thought you were going to do. That is not how you score boxing, right? You don't get more points because you're the underdog and you did better. It's not how boxing works at all, right?
Stephen Fulton has stepped up to defend Gervonta "Tank" Davis against critics who claim he's chasing easy money. Fulton argues that every boxer has the right to secure their financial future, especially in a sport as short and dangerous as boxing. He emphasizes that Tank has already proven his dominance over the years, and taking high-profile, lucrative fights now is a natural progression. Fulton urges fans to look beyond the surface, reminding them that Davis has earned the right to balance legacy with financial reward. His defense of Tank reflects a growing perspective within the boxing community. Respect for fighters who understand their own value and refuse to be confined by outdated expectations or traditional notions of how a champion should behave.
Jake Paul thoughts, I will reiterate one more time. I would rather see this because it's a spectacle than him versus Ryan Borland or Andre August or chasing these quote-unquote championship dreams in boxing. I don't think he's a championship level boxer. I don't really care about that journey. I want to see him in spectacles. Netflix is going to air Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. So to me, this is,
Do you think it will do well?
It will be watched. It will be watched.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. A lot of people are going to watch.
I would rather see Anthony Joshua just because that has been put out there and is on the table. But I will watch this.
I saw some people breaking this down on, it was a non-fight pod. It was, I don't remember which one. And they were saying like, oh, Tank's going to kill him. Tank's going to kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then
It's kind of like the Tyson thing again, though, right? Like when there was
it reminded me of that, but it also reminded me of like, oh, In barbershops across the world, people, or at least the country, people will talk about this and be like, oh, Tank's going to kill him because he will not get hit.
Eddie Chambers warns that underestimating Gervonta "Tank" Davis would be a grave mistake. While he acknowledges Jake Paul's physical size advantage, Chambers emphasizes that Tank's skill, power, and ring IQ make him a formidable challenge for any opponent. He points out that Davis's lightning-fast reflexes and explosive combinations can overwhelm larger fighters who lack defensive awareness. Chambers explains that unless Jake can match that intensity and precision, he'll struggle to keep up with Tank's relentless pace. In his view, Davis remains one of the most dangerous pound-for-pound fighters in the sport, thanks to his impeccable timing and mental composure. His comments underscore a key truth in boxing. When facing someone as technically gifted and strategically sharp as Davis, physical size alone is rarely enough.